Jackson Radio Show.
The thing I'm proudest of in the 8 years, I mean, this is a man, I've served with 8 presidents, and I got to know 4 of them very well. I've never met any president that has more character, more integrity, and more backbone than this guy does. It was an honor serving with him. And 8 years, not a hint, a scandal.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. What's so funny about this comment by Joe Biden? By the way, this is the Kevin Jackson Show, KJRadio.com. What's most interesting about this comment is he's saying this in the midst of all the chaos that's circulating around the Obama-era FBI. We don't have a hint of scandal. Mueller, in what they called a rare move, he issued a statement addressing these texts that came from Strzok to his girlfriend or mistress or whatever. And they were like, why would you do that? Adam Schiff even says, I don't understand why they did this, why they released this. This is amazing to me. Let's play that clip.
Let's get back to the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein. Faced a lot of questions yesterday about these text messages, controversial text messages that were sent between 2 FBI officials. First of all, you raised this earlier, but I want you to elaborate. What was the impact of the Justice Department releasing those text messages?
Well, from my point of view, it violates the very injunction that Rod Rosenstein took such issue with James Comey. He is revealing internal Department of Justice materials during the pendency of investigation and providing them to the press.
So that was Adam Schiff, representative Democrat, and his outrage is that the FBI violated its so-called procedure that was actually set up by Rod Rosenstein on behalf of the Comey investigations, and he's not upset because of what was revealed. That these guys actually have a statement in there that says we can't let Donald Trump get elected. He's not addressing that. He's addressing procedure. Can't believe that they would do this. You see what I'm saying? Now, Attorney General Jeff Sessions directed FBI Director Christopher Wray to, quote, make any necessary changes to his management and investigative teams. Because Wray now has the dubious honor of looking at all this stuff and saying, how do we maintain the public's faith in what we do? The head of the House Intelligence Committee threatened top officials at the Justice Department and the FBI with contempt of Congress citations, hurling accusations that they've been less than forthcoming about the text messages. Now, what's interesting about the text messages is people are saying, well, even Schiff goes on to say, why can't we see others? Let me just tell you, this is about for us, this is as good as it gets. And I said earlier, if this case were in the private sector, President Trump would own Mueller and the next 3 generations of Mueller. And I would suggest that Mueller in these meetings with the attorneys try to cut himself a deal. Now, let's talk about Mueller for a little bit. Because I explained to you guys that Mueller is anti-Trump, and he's a fraudulent investigator. You know what? Let's do this before we get started there. Let's play the rest of the Schiff comments, because that actually has some more interesting context, and then we'll get into what I want to talk about with Mueller.
And I also think that when you look at the context of the allegations that the DOJ Inspector General is investigating, they were very selective in what they released. There were multiple reports last year that the FBI was heavily predisposed against Hillary Clinton and in favor of Donald Trump. If there are text messages that run in the other direction, why have they not also been released? Why only this selective release? That's the problem with doing it this way.
So what Schiff wants you to believe, and he said, there's something he said earlier, I'm not going to go back and cover it, but he said something that was really poignant at the end of that. When he's talking with Wolf Blitzer, but I want to cover this aspect of it, that he wants you to believe that we haven't seen all of it. We haven't seen the people that said we don't want Hillary. We've only seen one side of this. Now, let me tell you, it's excellent subterfuge because it gets you thinking, well, maybe there are some anti-Hillary people, it's certainly possible. She can't be universally liked. Even in the text where these people are going back and forth, it's not like they love Hillary. It's more like they hate Trump. But he's implying that there are others out there. So what he's doing is he's saying, can you go find some? So we can offset what's been said here. They are saying that this is a stacked deck. We can unstack it if we could create some text messages that show that there are people that were just as anti-Hillary as they were anti-Trump. So that's one of the things that he's trying to make us believe. He's also trying to mitigate it by saying it really hasn't been investigated or adjudicated. So you can't just take for granted that everybody's pro-Trump. I mean, anti-Trump. You can't just do that, even though there may be no other evidence. The FBI hasn't said, no, we have zero evidence of that. Now, the other thing he wants you to dismiss is that nobody's accusing Hillary of anything. Right? It isn't like Hillary's under investigation for the Russian collusion or whatever. Frankly, she should be, but she's not. They're looking at information that could be prejudicial to the person who's under scrutiny. But he doesn't cover that. Yeah, well, why aren't they looking for things that are pro-Hillary? Or anti-Hillary? Because Hillary's not under investigation. It's that simple. He wants you to understand that it's been balanced. There are people out there who don't like Hillary within the FBI. So it was balanced. So what you're hearing about Peter Strzok and all these things that are connecting him to not investigating Hillary properly. One other quick point to this whole thing. He said that what he's implying is that Peter Strzok is not that big of a deal. This is the guy whose emails we have. This is a guy who's been critical to each element of this investigation. Did you hear me say each to each element of this investigation? And he's going, well, we need to see emails of other people. Why? What do they have? Did they interview Hillary and all her surrogates? No. Did they change the language that Comey eventually came out in his messaging? No. Did they interview General Flynn? No. So what do we care about their emails? These, for all intents and purposes, these were minions. But that's what he's trying to do. He's being very slick. Now, I want to go back to what something Schiff said that I think is very poignant to the conversation. Because what he ends up doing is he's impugning the FBI by saying they're playing cover their butt. So here's the clip.
He is revealing internal Department of Justice materials during the pendency of investigation and providing them to the press. What is the explanation for that? There really is no good explanation for that except a self-serving one from the department. And
all right, everybody, welcome back. Kevin Jackson here. So what's funny to me in hearing Schiff now go, okay, just to recap. You've got all these lefties, Rod Rosenstein, you've got Mueller, but by the way, those are the two that made the decision to release the information on the text that came from Horowitz, who's the inspector general. He's the one who found this and said, why hasn't anybody brought this up? This really doesn't look good. And so these guys said, you know what, we better come clean with this because this is spiraling out of control. And the other side knows that this is here. So they release it. Schiff comes along and says, why'd they do it? That's not a procedural thing. Rod Rosenstein wanted to prevent this when Comey did it. When Comey was doing all this stuff, he was the one that implemented this rule that said you can't do that. But they broke their own rule. And he's going, why are they doing this? Are they trying to protect the agency? That's what he's concerned about. Are they trying to protect themselves from something? What Schiff is now concerned about is the FBI is going, we're caught. We can no longer play the cover-up game here. We've got to fess up, come clean, and try to salvage something. Which brings me back to all of the things that have come up in this entire investigation. And I'm privy to a little bit of insider information from some FBI guys that work there that are not friendly with Comey and Mueller and many others, and they're starting to say it's unraveling. In fact, they say in the next few days, we're going to get the most amazing dump of information that we've had so far. And that's why I come back to Mueller's meeting with the president. when I got the information about what's about to happen, it was late Friday. And I'm telling you, this week, if things go the way that they've been going, and I'm going to get more into it here in just a second. If it goes the way it goes, you're going to find out just how crooked this FBI is. And I'm telling you, I preached how Mueller was no good. He's an anti-Trump, fraudulent guy who they set up as the investigator, and it wasn't because I had any special insight into Mueller. So when we come back, I'm going to play a clip that'll kind of set the stage for who Mueller really is, who's a swamp snake.
Kevin Jackson
on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.